everyone, my name is Zikra Adinda Ayu. My student ID number is 25010210009. I am from class 1C of the Diploma 3 program and my attendance number is 3. Today, I would like to present a review of a scientific journal entitled The Influence of Two-Dimensional and Three-Dimensional Urban Morphology on Spontaneous Plant Diversity in Shenzhen, China. Before I begin, I would like to clarify that this is not my own research. This presentation is based on a scientific journal written by the original researchers. I chose this article because I found the topic both interesting and highly relevant to today's environment challenge. Particularly, the relationship between urban development and biodiversity through this presentation. I will summarize the main findings of the study and discuss their significance for sustainable urban planning. Urbanization is one of the fastest growing global trends. Every year, cities continue to expand with the new buildings, roads, and infrastructure. While this development improves economic growth and people quality of life, it also causes environmental problems, especially the loss of biodiversity. One group of organisms that often receives little attention is spontaneous plants. These are plants that grow naturally without being planted by humans. Although they are often considered weeds, they play an important role in maintaining ecological balance. They improve air quality, reduce urban heat, provide habitats for insects, and increase biodiversity in urban environments. This journal investigates how urban development influences the diversity of spontaneous plants in Shenzhen, China. Most previous studies focus only on two-dimensional urban characteristics, such as green space, land over, and building density. However, modern cities are becoming increasingly vertical with taller buildings and more complex urban structures. Because of this, the researchers want to determine whether three-dimensional urban morphology, including building, height, and spatial structures, also affects spontaneous plant diversity. To answer this question, they conducted their research in Shenzhen, China, one of the fastest growing metropolitan cities in the world. Its rapid urban development and diverse landscape make it an ideal location for this study. The research had three main objectives. First, to analyze how two-dimensional and three-dimensional urban morphology influence spontaneous plant diversity. Second, to identify which urban factors have the greatest impact on plant diversity. Finally, to provide recommendations that can support biodiversity conservation while promoting sustainable urban development. This study combined field surveys with spatial analysis. The research visited different locations throughout Shenzhen and recorded spontaneous plant species that grew naturally without human cultivation. After collecting plant data, they used Geographic Information System or GIS together with urban spatial data to analyze the surrounding environment. The study evaluated two categories of variables. The first category was two-dimensional variables, including green space coverage, building density, road density, and land use. The second category was three-dimensional variables, including building height, building volume, and the overall spatial arrangement of buildings. The collected data were then analyzed using statistical method to determine which urban characteristic had the stronger influence on spontaneous plant diversity. Now let's discuss the findings of this study. The research found that both two-dimensional and three-dimensional urban morphology significantly influence spontaneous plant diversity. Green spaces were shown to have a positive effect on plant diversity. Areas with more parks, forests, and vegetation generally supported a greater number of spontaneous plant species. On the other hand, areas with very dense building tended to have lower plant diversity because there was less space and fewer suitable environment conditions for plants to grow. The study also revealed that the vertical structure of cities plays an important role. Tall buildings can reduce sunlight, change wind circulation, and alter local temperature and humidity. These environmental changes affect the survival and distribution of spontaneous plants. Therefore, plant diversity is influenced not only by the amount of green space but also by how buildings are designed and arranged within the city. One of the most interesting aspects of the journal is that it demonstrates the importance of considering both horizontal and vertical urban structures. In the past, city planners mainly focused on increasing green spaces. However, this study suggests that sustainable urban planning should also pay attention to buildings' height, spacing between buildings, and overall urban design. A well-balanced city with sufficient green spaces and appropriate building arrangement can provide better habitats for spontaneous plants and improve urban biodiversity. The study also reminds us that spontaneous plants should not simply be viewed as weeds. Instead, they contribute to healthier urban ecosystems by supporting insects, improving soil quality, reducing heat, and enhancing environmental sustainability. In conclusion, this journal demonstrates that urban morphology has a strong influence on spontaneous plant diversity. Both two-dimensional factors such as green space and building density, and three-dimensional factors such as building height and urban structure affect how spontaneous plants survive in cities. The finding highlights the importance of integrating biodiversity conservation into urban planning. Future cities will not only focus on economic development but also create environments where both people and nature can thrive together. Overall, I believe this journal provides valuable insights into how urban planning can support sustainable development while protecting biodiversity. That brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope this presentation has helped you better understand the relationship between urban morphology and spontaneous plant diversity. If you have any question or comments, I will be happy to answer them. Thank you and have a great day.